Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
You are listening to Active Spaces Insightful Conversations with Ayanda Sitebe. Keep it locked.
Hello. Okay, so I'm obviously not Ayanda Sitebe. So I am Felicia Naiwa Sitebe, standing in for Ayanda Sitebe, who could not join us today. But I think it's fitting to have ladies rocking the studio for Women's Day, which is awesome. So like I said, I'm holding it down for Ayanda Sitebe today as we celebrate women in the special day of Women's Month. Later we'll be joined by two amazing, beautiful, influential, strong forces in the industry of entertainment. We've got Didi Makabani, the short slaying queen, joining us later, and then we've got Flavia Mutsiz, who's doing wonders. This lady is doing wonders, guys. She's from Swift, and she's going to give us insight later about what it is to be all things Swift, what they stand for, their mandate, and what they've been doing basically to continuously connect us, join us as ladies in the film, corporate structure, and just, basically creating influence. So I think we're going to go into an ad break.
Live from 27 boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
The unique experience. Living as One Events presents relationship talks, drama, Q&A sessions,
music, love stories, ladies and gents session, and lots more. Registration fee at 150 Rand.
happening at Bread of Life Foundation Venue, Honeydew Shopping Center, Bayers Nordia Drive, corner Blueberry Drive, Unit 66, Laser Park, Honeydew. Saturday, 15 September at 11 a.m. RSVP on 072-851-8702.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. Brandlive.co.za.
Awesome. So we just continuously reinforce that. Brandlive.co.za. Let's get talking. Let's get interacting, ladies. So, before we move on to the day that is today, which is Women's Month, we can't, shy away from the fact that last week, one of our industry angels, Winston Nchona, has passed on. Sadly, that man was amazing. If you've watched Sizwe Banzi is Dead, if you've watched The Island, you know the greatness that is that man who's worked for so many years with the likes of John Kani, who's done so many big things with the Market Theatre, and that's definitely a big life lost. One of his highlights was him being nominated for a Tony nominee, which is huge. He's got our own local Golden Horn, and he's done great things, guys, and it's sad that we've lost a legend, but we've learned so much from him. He's opened up big spaces for us, to continuously keep this the flame burning for up and coming artists in the industry. So our act of the week, sadly, this week goes to Winston Nchona, but we will forever remember him. So moving on to the big day today with the Slay Queen. Like I said earlier, the short queen who's doing great things. I'm always bumping into, and for some odd reason, my kids always get Didi and myself confused, guys. I do not understand this. Every time they see a picture, they're like, Ima Milena.
Oh.
I'm like, no, Nana, I see Ima Milena.
It's me.
It's me, So I guess, the beautiful thing when your kids look at another female and they think as you, it's so flattering because they just see me, they just see a woman, they just see a lover, a nurturer, and I believe in feeding off energy.
Absolutely.
And kids are so amazing.
Yeah.
They just, guys, can you imagine they feeding off energy on Instagram? But when I next time we are family. Rebona mama within the industry, you know. So I mean, Didi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming and honoring the invite.
I mean, there was no way I couldn't. I was just like, what? I'll be there. You know, because I mean, I love what you guys do. I'm totally like all for it. So, as someone who loves acting with everything, I mean, it's an honor to be invited into spaces such as this one. So, yeah.
And it's Women's Day.
And it's Women's Day, Matsuk. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I woke up this morning because I love this kind of weather, you know, it's just generally in life. And I was like, wait a king, today kitlo slay, man. Kitlo slay net for dating. I'm a woman and it's my day and I can do whatever I want. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, happy Women's Day first and foremost to all the amazing women out there. And yeah, I still believe we have a long way to go. In as far as, you know, the battles that we're still fighting. But we'll get there.
It's so
we'll
unfortunate, hey? But I'm also so glad that in this world of technology and being so accessible to so many things, we're able to have these interactive platforms.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
I was listening to one of the radio stations locally, and they were talking about this guy who's got an awesome page on Facebook. I think it's called Enough is Enough.
Okay.
And he was saying the sad thing is that he's not finding a lot of males interacting on that platform. It's a lot of females who are talking about, you know, this has been done to me, I've been wronged in a certain way. And he's just like, if we could bring males into that conversation, there could be a quicker look. It's not a one-stop shop. Obviously.
Of course,
it's an ongoing process. But he's like, if more males would interact on how do we change it, because you know you're pinch, you know you're gent when you're sitting there at a shisanyama at an event ceremony, at a drama award ceremony, and as a female you just can't be in your beautiful attractive dress because Boot Bay is just here breathing down your neck and you're just like, brother man, yes I'm an artist, yes I'm flamboyant, I know I'm beautiful and confident, but can we focus on the eyes?
I'm also not here for you.
How do you deal with that, Didi? Just like walking on set and someone just looking at Didi and saying Didi's an amazing actress and that's just it.
Like, leave the extras alone, you know. For me, that's just who I am. I think it also goes back to one thing that my dad always taught me, and then once again when I did my first debut on television, one of the things I was told, and that stick with me forever, is that no one is above you, nobody's below you, we're all on the same level. It's you know, somehow. So whether it be race, whether it be gender, you know, I don't see gender, I don't see race, I see people. And I think that if once we start to treat each other from a human perspective, or like human value, not it's a woman or it's a guy, or she's white, or she's, you know what I'm saying, like just treat me as a human being. Because the rest is just like decorations and whatever, you know.
You're so right, and I think because now they're queuing us for ad break. I think when we come back, we're gonna bring in Flavia into this convo and also touch on how people continuously want to give us brands and say you're a superwoman, you're a this. Can I just be a female who's just doing things
that females can do? So
when we come back from ad break, we're gonna have awesome Flavia joining us in with Didi, and we're gonna talk.
Yes.
Awesome.
The station with the best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
This one is explosive.
Brand Live
Lunatic, 'cause I do what I want, and I get what I want when I want it. You know life can be so ordinary. Boy meets girl, they settle, make a baby.
Brandlive.co.za.
The Dramatic Talk with myself, Bongani Drama. Bringing you insightful conversations on the Convo Corner, your latest celebrity news on Dramatainment, and your latest fashion news on Stash and Fade.
This is Bongani.
And myself, Rose Rataha, bringing you your latest news and sports updates.
Every Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. Only on www.brandlive.co.za.
Yeah, guys, I have another situation right now. We're so nice and warm with Roy Boss and Cappuccino, and the ladies are just bonding. I wish this show could go on and on and on. It feels so amazing to share energies and a space with such amazing women like yourselves. Like I said before the ad break, we had Didi joining us earlier. I mean, you know her on screen. She's done a lot of things, a lot of influential things, and she talks the truth on her Insta. Like, she's calling us out on how to live a better life, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
And then we're joined by the beautiful Flavia Mutsisi. Flavia, am I saying it right?
Yes, you are. It's Mutsisi.
Mutsisi.
Yes.
Kisitswana. Kisitswana. Okay. So Flavia is with us from Swift. Flavia, please just give us like the lowdown on Swift and the amazing work that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, Felicia. First of all, I'd just like to thank you for this opportunity, and I just want to say well done to Active Spaces, who also happens to be one of our partners.
Yay!
You guys are amazing.
Whoa.
Basically, Swift is Sisters Working in Film and Television, and it's an organization that aims to advocate for women, bring mentorships and skills for women, networking sessions, screenings for women. It's really just a sisterhood and a hub for women in the film and television industry, and that's what we're about. We've been operating for 3 years now, and it was basically formed at the Durban International Film Festival, where a couple of women came together and they just started airing out their issues, and we saw that, guys, there's an issue here. We then ventured and went back into our sort of spaces, and we then started Swift in different regions, one being Johannesburg, being the headquarters, Durban as well as Cape Town, and we've been running coherently since then, where we have different pillars: advocacy and impact, which is to fight for women, mentorship and skills, which is obviously to upskill women, sisterhood cinema, where we really appreciate each other's work and we give each other a platform to work together, networking, which is a huge thing because access is an issue for women in the industry, as well as organizational structure, because in order for us to be heard, we need to be a proper organization. And we need to be credible. So that's the long and short of it.
It's so beautiful that you mentioned what jumped out for me right now when you're telling us about Swift, the hub and the sisterhood. You know, that carries so much weight because that resonates to me and links me up to the word of support. That makes me feel like, okay, so there's a platform for me. There's a space for me, almost like an open diary, you know, someone who's gonna understand, because as people who work in this industry, we know it, we feel it, we see it. You walk into a boardroom to present, to pitch, and you can already see that these people are looking at the inch of your heel, how long or short your skirt is, and you're just like, eye level here. Can it just be about me? So ladies, can we delve, Didi and Flavia, into this issue of the importance of having the supportive hub for ladies, for us to interact? What does it mean to you? What does it speak to?
May I? I think, I think in as much as we're able to sort of break each other down as women, we're also very much capable of building each other. And I think movements like Swift, where a sisterhood is created and a hub like that is created to strengthen one another and, to encourage one another and to be there for one another and support each other, is very important, because I think, honestly speaking, I always say that, this is my feminist side, I always say I feel like men did to us what white people did to black people. you know, the whole divide and conquer thing. So as opposed to working as a team and supporting one another, we find ourselves competing with each other, and you know, that's when the next person is sort of able to. That's when a foreign factor, let me say rather, sort of wins with us, because you know, if they can whisper something, oh no, but Didi, you're better than Felicia, or you know, Flavia, you're better than Didi, or whatever, then we're already walking into the room. You know, it sort of sets a premise and a vibe that is not one that builds.
And I think there's so much truth in what you're saying, Didi, because it's so easy to sort of say men did this to us, which they did, but then the culture gets perpetuated when we do it to each other as women, right? Someone gave you an opportunity and a door was open for you, and instead of opening it and leaving it open for another sister to come in, you shut it down, and you just want to be on the top alone. And to be quite honest, the top is also not nice, because you know, position does not cover you as a woman. And that's what our survey found, and that's what our reports found, that doesn't matter what sort of form of position you're in, you're still going to be discriminated against because you're a woman. You're still going to be harassed because you're a woman. You know, all these factors are still going to be a factor regardless of the fact that you are on top. So how much more for people who are still starting up, who are vulnerable, who have sort of like to get a job and they're just desperate, so they'll do whatever and they'll be exploited in order for them to get there. And the women in power are also not sort of like helping it because the situation, because they sort of perpetuate the culture by saying, well, of course he'll treat you this way. Have you seen the way you're dressed? Of course he'll talk to you in this way because you're a pretty girl. So now all of a sudden you have to be apologetic.
But it's like those competitive nuances that I'm talking about. Why as a woman do I choose I want to as opposed to saying I want us to be on par? I mean, obviously by virtue of the fact that, let's say I've got more experience in the industry, for example, and there are a whole lot more things that I've been exposed to that I know about. It's my duty to ensure that those coming after me are aware of the dangers, of you know, the joys, the ups and the downs and so on that come with that industry. It's up to me to mold people. It doesn't mean that if I mold somebody who's younger than me, they're gonna be better than lighting another candle doesn't take fire away from yours.
It doesn't.
You know, and I feel like as soon as we can learn how to do that as women and just support each other like that, my goodness, we can literally take over the world.
Continuously lift each other up.
You know?
Flavia, so I mean, you guys have launched your flagship #That'sNotOkay video series. What exactly is it about, and what's the objective of this campaign?
So basically this campaign came about where we sat together with a couple of women and we saw that there's a lot of issues. We then distributed a survey nationwide. You guys were also sort of very fundamental in sort of helping out to distribute it to women out there. And they filled it in, and there were really very appalling things that we found in there that was so disgusting. And as much as we're an organization that works on a volunteer basis, so everyone volunteers, you know what I mean? We just couldn't sit with this sort of information and not do anything. So what we did is we then came together, you know, these women worked tirelessly and timelessly to sort of conduct this code of conduct as opposed to ethics, in terms of ethics and how to conduct yourself in a workspace. Because when you look at the film and television industry and its design, it's very different from a corporate where there are sort of labor laws and there are sort of code of conduct and there's an HR system.
HR.
You know what I mean? Whereas with us, you're you're an actress, you're contracted, you know what I mean, you're like a freelancer. You need that money. There's no sort of document that supports you or that saves you, that's sort of a security, and so you have nowhere else to go, because what if the perpetrator is the person who signed your contract? And so from that we were like, it's so important that there's a code of conduct for the film and television industry, and it's implemented within the funders, so people who fund these producers implement and enforce it, so that by the time you get your check and you get your contract, it stands in the contract and you make sure that everyone is safe on set. But we felt that was still not enough because people weren't aware. Women don't know when they're being harassed themselves because the culture has been perpetuated and they've been desensitized. Men also don't know because it's just been part of who they are. And so that's when the PSAs came about, because it was a nice visual way to sort of show how to what sexual harassment is. And so the campaign is basically just to raise awareness and to conscientize people on what sexual harassment is, and to do it in a way, in sort of like an everyday sort of setup, and in a way that people can relate to without being too didactic or preachy about it. So I hope that makes sense to you, Felicia.
I mean, yeah, I think it also just generally makes sense to a lot of people. Predominantly women in the industry, especially because we're so afraid to speak out. I mean, I find that one of the things that make us so afraid to just say, guys, this person is touching me in a way that I don't like, is because we're afraid, or ish, but now I'm burning bridges, you know. And I always say to young women, I'm like, but do you not think that that person is burning bridges by behaving inappropriately towards you?
But I think it's also to understand that sometimes it comes from a place of you really needing the job and not wanting to jeopardize it.
Absolutely.
This industry is so small, you don't want to be on a black book, you don't want to, you know what I mean? And so I think that's where Swift comes in, and it's also part of the campaign to sort of say, if this happens to you, you can come to us and we can fight the fight for you and with you, and we'll make sure that you don't you are not painted in a dark light, or you're not going to lose your job, you know what I mean? And it's just that support that we bring in, because we understand how difficult it is to go to an executive producer and say, I'm being harassed on set, and they're looking at their deadlines and their timelines that they need to meet, you know.
And the person that you're saying is harassing you happens to be a very good friend of theirs.
Exactly.
And they're like, well, I don't know.
Or a very inexperienced DOP, and they don't know where else to find such an experienced DOP or a director or.
So it really is about continuously having those open, real, truthful dialogues.
Absolutely.
With everybody, male, female, young, old, rural, urban, all of those things. Because when you actually break it down, it's like the deeper and deeper layers to this thing.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not just a male and female thing. It's a, how were you brought up? What is it to self-love and self-value yourself? To wake, because I find myself as a mom also having to deal with the issues of just waking up, looking at yourself in the mirror, be confident enough to tackle the new day, you know. Before we went on air break, we touched on the superwoman type of thing, which I always say to people, please don't call me a superwoman. Please don't do that to me. It's so unfair. I've already have my own little struggles of just trying to be a better person.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. When I pray at night, I'm like, I just want to be a better person. It just so happens that this person is female and is going through female issues that shouldn't even be stigmatized to being female. It should be centralized to the fact that, are you good enough? Are you working hard enough? Do you know what it is to be presentable in the workspace, like you touched on, Flavia, and not know you're not dressed in an appropriate manner? But it's, I am standing here and I am selling myself as a brand, you know. Are you hearing that? Because when we delve deeper, a female figure is so amazing, guys. A female nurtures. You know for a fact that when you've got a female in a space, things change. Things are calmer. Things are beautiful. It smells nice. It's calmer. It's cleaner. It's soft. It's mushy.
And that's our strength. That's our strength. That's our strength. And
to just love, and impact society, but you just being you. It just so happens that your you is a female gender. So the more we open up that conversation with everybody, for people to understand that I am not just a baby maker.
No.
I am not just, you know, I'm not just a pretty face. I'm not just sexy. Yes, I'm sexy and I'm owning it.
But that's not all that is to me.
No, I am a force to be reckoned
I'm an entire onion with so many layers.
Whoa,
so every time you peel me, you're gonna cry.
But I think it's so important that it's so important to sort of even point out that who said I can't be all those things?
Yes.
Who said just because I look beautiful and I take care of myself, I can't have a brain and I can't achieve and I can't, you know what I mean? Like, where's this coming from? And I think more importantly for the black women as well, it's so interesting. It's such an interesting transition because black women are standing up and they're speaking and they're standing for themselves. And there's a lot of pushback in the industry, but we're saying no. There's never been a moment, there's never been a time where it's been so lit to be black and fabulous. You know what I mean?
Girl.
And we're owning it and it's beautiful.
It's
and
so
we need
delicious.
to stand together. That's what we need. Unity. That's what we need.
Unity and truth.
And truth.
Because, sometimes you go
Yeah.
through a hard time. You look at your speed dial. I literally go through my phone book. I'm like, I just want to cry today. But I'm not sure who to cry to. So that realness to be able to say, I'm just having a bad day today, because listen, I had to build an empire.
Sure.
I had to drive home. I had to do the laundry.
Yeah.
Then I had to cook. Then I had to call my team members and say, are you okay?
Yeah.
Can somebody ask me if I'm okay?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I really so wish, ladies, we had so much time to delve deep into this, but we have to close it because the producer, that is Linda,
Mr. Producer, Scully Women's Day Special.
Hello.
Mrs. Producer. Even worse. Mrs. Producer. Hi, girl.
Can we please have more timing on this thing?
Can we have an extra 30 minutes?
Please.
So, Felicia, can I just add in just 2 seconds?
Please.
I'd really just like to put out a call to all the women in the film and television industry to please join forces with Swift.
Yeah.
The way we can be impactful is we need numbers and we need more people to stand with us.
Okay.
And that's the only way we can move forward.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether you're experienced or not, it doesn't matter what you do. Please just join us. Please be a part of us. And we are also there to help you. If you're a woman and you've been encountering any trauma, or you'd like to talk to anyone about anything, please contact our WhatsApp lifeline, which is 082-813-2710, and we'd be able to get back to you within the next 24 hours after you've sent a message to us.
Thank you so much, Flavia. Guys, please, let's link up with Swift, Let's use the support. It's there. Didi,
True story.
what do you have to say, girl?
Guys, I just have to say, just be great, be fabulous, do you, boo-boo. If you feel like doing it, do it. You don't have to subscribe to what society says you must do. Just be yourself, do it, live your best life, and be fabulous while you're doing it,
Yeah, guys, let's engage. Let's interact. There's so many social media platforms. You want to start it? We'll support it.
Absolutely.
Join Swift. Follow Didi. Follow Brand Live. Follow Actor Spaces. See what we're doing. See what we're all about.
Yeah.
But we're always consistently always just trying to build, grow, engage, interact, build each other as young black people, women, South Africans and Africans. The spaces are there. Let's use them. Happy Women's Month.
Happy
to
Women's
everybody.
Month.
Okay, we'll sign out before they chuck us out of the studio.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. Brandlive.co.za